Ricola.
I do remember
Ricola.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think about companies that have like one commercial that hits
Yeah.
and makes them
A name.
Yeah, exactly. Ricola.
Yeah.
Right? And I wonder their marketing people, their advertising people, how stuck they feel in that.
Ooh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like a band that doesn't want to play their hit.
Right.
That big hit.
Because they have other songs. They've grown since then.
Yeah, we want to play the new album,
Right.
and everybody's like, no,
play Ricola.
Play the Ricola song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what?
Do Doublemint again.
As people are still using "got blank"
Oh yeah, we talk about this all the time.
as a slogan for anything but milk.
Yeah.
You know.
Which is, by the way, that's my least favorite dairy substitute. Anything but milk.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's different every time. That's the problem.
Yeah,
You never know.
The color, the
Yeah.
consistency.
It's not consistent, and the consistency
Right.
is a
Off.
problem. Yeah.
The consistency is off, and the consistency is off.
Yes.
I gotta
But
be honest.
you know, if Chuck opens a Portuguese restaurant and he's like, "What slogan can I use to bring people in the door?" I got it. Got chorizo, and I like, come on, dude. It's
Yeah.
been almost 30 years.
It's true. Yeah.
That's an interesting one.
Steams my chorizo, I'll tell you
It
that.
steams my clam. You should start saying
It
that.
really steams my clam.
Sometimes I think about those poor folks at Subway
Yes.
and the poor folks at Jell-O putting, you know,
Really have to
Oh,
distance
yeah.
yourselves.
The
Yeah.
darn, we have the pedophile or the rapist.
oops, we did it again.
Oops.
Yeah.
Oops. It's a
You know what?
rapist.
Let me take that back. I don't feel bad for Subway because Subway knowingly
Right.
went along with this after a while. They found out and they continued on.
You have a whole Subway, like, you know more about this than I do.
Oh, okay.
You're
yeah.
my Subway, your guru in terms of you tell me how they dealt with their pedophile mascot.
Oh, okay.
You have a lot of information about it.
I mean, I like read the thing. You know what I mean?
I didn't know Subway.
Subway at some point found out about the Fogle issue. There were some complaints or something like that, and they knew, and then didn't stop having Jared as their mascot, and they were quiet about it.
What would it take to kick Brad off the podcast? What if we found out he was dabbling?
Hard pivot there.
Well, I'm just saying, same thing. Well,
Thank
we're
you
Subway.
for saying hard pivot.
We're,
Yeah.
we're saying we're Subway.
Thank you for like struggling to encompass me doing something so reprehensible in your brain.
Yeah.
Chuck, on the other hand, is he's
Listen,
No, it's interesting. If
half step away.
if he's doing the Fogle stuff, he's off. I think.
to be clear here, the reason I think it's such a hard pivot is like I don't know what's inside you. You know what desires
Subway.
are inside a man, but I do know that you wouldn't act on anything.
yeah,
Even normal like
Human desires,
okay urges. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, like, if he pulled a Fogle, he's
Yeah.
off.
yeah, get me out of here.
But like if he ran a red light, he's obviously not
That's
off.
fine.
So we got to find what the limit is.
Well, I mean, those are very opposite ends of. a
That's what I'm
spectrum.
saying.
Yeah.
So we got to meet in the middle. Meet in the middle.
I don't know that we need to meet in the middle.
That's the new slogan for Subway,
Yes.
by the way. To get rid of the Fogle issue.
Yeah,
Is
it's-
meet in the middle.
You get a foot long and you start on each end and you Lady in the Tramp.
Listen,
Yeah.
what if the right after they kicked off Fogle as the mascot, the next Subway commercial starts and it's the CEO of the company. He's like this.
Yeah, he's like, oh god.
Listen,
Yeah.
we got sandwiches. If you like our sandwiches, come down to Subway. I don't want to talk about anything else. Just about
Listen,
a sandwich.
here at Subway, we know that for a lot of people, we've been seen as the healthy option in fast food. And that says a lot for the mid to late 90s, okay? Half of our stuff is like rubber. It's literally yoga mats for bread. But, I mean, come in, you have a nice neck tattooed young man or woman make you a sandwich with plastic gloves that they kept on while they took your money.
Yes.
So you know that you got money in your food.
As long as they stamp my card, I'm okay with that.
Speaking of, we're introducing a new system. And that you get your card stamped.
Yes.
Okay. Now it used to be 10. You need 10.
Yep.
Your 10 sandwiches free.
Yep.
We're cutting it down. We're doing 8. Come in, please. Come in, please. Please come in.
So you turn your back on Subway.
We're moving the amount of stamps up to legal age 18.
Can I? That's funny. You turn your back on Subway when you knew
I
they were.
turned my back on Subway. Yeah.
You knew that they were harboring a pedophile and supporting him. Can I tell you?
I denied them 3 times.
Can I tell you that I also turned my back on Subway for a very different reason?
Oh, did they get your little order wrong?
No. Well, first of all, yes.
Almost every time.
Yeah.
Here's why I turned my back on them. My ex-girlfriend. This is like 20 years ago. Ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
Very kind. We still have a good relationship. They employed her as a person to work there.
Weird.
Okay.
No,
hold on.
Turn my back on him that moment.
Hold on.
I've been employed as a person to work.
She's like 4'11". She weighs like 105 pounds.
You went to her graduation this year?
Is that the person that should be choosing and judging how much meat should be on my sandwich?
Oh,
We
this
need
is like
a-
a misogynist kind of thing.
No. I don't care if she was a girl or a man or what. We need a little chub back there.
Girl or man.
We
You
need-
notice that?
I definitely noticed it.
We need
A little cute little girl or a big macho man.
Like me, Chuck
like
need-
Steve
I need-
Chuckstock.
I need someone back there. Well, do you ever think about this? The idea of like
No.
well, hold on. Me and Brad went to Chipotle last night.
We got skimped.
we got skipped.
We got skimped.
What is happening? Am I in the 50s talking to 2 men in their 50s? Is that what's happening?
We got skipped.
I tell you, we got skimped, you see? We got skimped, I tell you.
I was born in '08.
We get skimped. And I think that the skimping has to do with the person choosing how much you should have. I need a person with a healthy understanding that some people like to eat a lot of meat and they want to have a lot of meat. And if you're too little, I don't want you choosing my meat. I don't want you picking how much meat I can eat.
So you're okay with the Jared situation,
Yeah.
but you draw the line
I'll say
at
this.
not enough rosemary chicken.
I'll say this. I don't support Jared in his activities.
Okay. Say it to the camera.
I do not support him. I don't think it's great the Subway supported him.
It's horrible.
But you got to support a small business and
So go to a sandwich shop, like a local sandwich shop.
Small business was the name of the folder on Jared's desk. Hello and welcome to another
Yay!
episode of Funbearable. My name is Brad Rohr.
My name is Ray. I never saw that folder, Harrington.
my name is Chuck Staten Fogle. We're still figuring we're married.
Fogle Staten, Staten Fogle. It's really tough. It's a really hard one.
He's got to be getting out of prison soon, right?
I don't know.
What are his career options?
An apology book at best.
Yeah.
Would you go see him doing if it was
No.
he was doing a stand-up tour
No.
that was half apologies?
I would call bomb threats into the theater.
What if you were asked to feature?
I wouldn't do it.
Oh, yeah. You haven't asked about the pay
Yeah,
yet.
you know what the pay. The pay is big.
I'm fine.
It's a big payday.
You know what? You know what I'm
7
rich
million.
in? You know what I'm
7
rich
mil.
in?
7 mil.
No.
Yes, you would.
Ooh, 7 mil?
Yeah, it's at the Super Bowl.
Oh no. I don't
That's
want to.
weird.
No, that's too public.
And
That's
you know what?
too
Here's the
public.
thing. It's a big. And you know what? It's his face and your face just as big. It says the Twin Titans.
Oh no.
7 mil.
Actually, wouldn't it be the before and after picture?
Yeah. All right. What if he's going to be pilloried in the
Before-
town square, and you can throw tomatoes at him, but for
Yeah.
every tomato that hits him, he gets paid.
Well, listen, I'll do the gig for like an absurd amount of money.
Yeah.
Not in a hugely public sphere like the Super Bowl, but
Hey, dude, the halftime
Yeah.
show is Ray Harrington.
everybody's like, "What is this about?" How was Ray's set? Did he do well? Like, Nate Bargatze just did SNL.
Yeah, very
Which,
good.
by the way, mwah, chef's kiss of an episode. You guys know I watch SNL like it's like Brad watches football. And it's that's a very apt analogy because most of the time you're like, oh, I love them, but what are they doing?
Yeah.
And that's what I feel with SNL a lot.
I know. I feel the exact same way.
Yeah.
I don't have a current partner to like experience it with, so I don't always make time for it.
Yeah.
But I feel the exact same way.
Well, when Fogle gets out of jail.
Well,
Yeah.
I really feel like every week I'm watching SNL.
Yeah.
I love so many people involved.
Yeah.
And I'm fucking rooting.
I'm rooting for them all the time.
Yeah.
I have moments where I'll like have like a little mini stroke in my head where I go like the Weekend Update is happening, and I love Weekend Update.
Yes,
the desk
me
is
too.
what I'm there for most of the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And I'll have like a little mini stroke where I go like somebody will be doing a character, and then you've got Colin and Shay, and I'll just look at Kalina and go, I know all those people.
Yeah.
I know them. That's weird.
Yeah.
But anyway, Bargatze, fantastic
Yep.
episode. I loved the episode. All the sketches were either like the worst sketch was good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know.
And there's some great ones. I sent you the thing about the George
the
Washington
Washington, yeah.
sketch.
Very funny.
His opening stand-up set for the monologue
Great.
was fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fantastic. Why was I talking about that?
We were talking about,
He did SNL. That's
Yeah.
a very public sphere.
and it's. I mean, we should say, in case anyone doesn't really notice, it's like the idea of someone like Nate Bargatze hosting SNL
Crazy.
is crazy, and it hasn't happened for a very long time.
Well,
Like Chappelle's not the same.
no. Bargatze is like I know Nate.
Yeah.
I've worked
Yeah.
with Nate a bunch. Like we've hung out in the green room a whole bunch of times, and that's crazy. You know.
Yeah.
Kalina brought this up beforehand, and I think this was smart. My wife, Kalina, made the point, and she's like, "Yeah, probably wouldn't have happened without the SAG strike."
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah, and because everybody's terrified to go promote their stuff, and that's why it was Pete Davidson for the first one back, Bad Bunny for the next, and then Nate Bargatze, because they're not promoting
Right.
a movie or a TV
specific
show.
thing, yeah.
Anyway, I wouldn't do the Super Bowl with Jared Fogle.
All right.
Too public, but I would do like a theater for a whole millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Because then I can get the monies, refuse to watch his set, leave, and then use some of those monies to do something bad to Jared Fogle.
Okay.
Wow.
And I feel like that cancels out me doing that show.
What
Wow.
if right. Well, he doesn't have control of your set. What if you go up there, you're doing a half an hour.
Yeah. Right.
He's doing a solid hour.
Yeah.
Getting ready for his Netflix special. And you're like, I'm going to use this time to rip into Jared Fogle.
I thought about that.
Yeah,
Are
sure.
you gonna take him down?
Yeah, why not?
Ooh, what
I'm
about
going to come out dressed as Gregory Quiznos, whatever
Yes.
the person is for Quiznos.
Oh, it's those little hamster mice that sing.
No, I think that was the Kia.
That was them. Eat Quiznos subs. They got a pepper
I-
bar.
Oh,
If-
yeah, that weird one. The
Yeah.
weird commercial.
I
If-
actually
Yeah.
loved that.
If anybody knows
commercial.
about Quiznos, it is Chuck.
That is
I
fair.
love Quiznos.
Yeah.
Me and
What-
Brad went to the last Quiznos on the East Coast recently.
You guys cried. It was like your wailing wall.
Yeah, it was.
It was amazing.
It
Yeah.
was. Yeah, it was, I mean, the food was great. I just think that if Comedy Central wanted to do the roast of Jared Fogle,
Yes.
Ooh.
you have a lot of people signing up.
Would you?
But I got to say, I think the jokes would be pretty one note.
Would you?
Yeah.
Would you host the Fogle roast?
Host the Fogle roast?
Yeah.
Ooh. I don't know. I don't think I want to host the Fogle roast.
You don't want to be associated with
Because you know why? I don't want to have to say the required nice thing at the end of your
okay.
jokes.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
We actually meant all of these.
Yeah. Also, I don't want to be the guy that's like, maybe I should do. I mean, we know what everybody's going to do jokes about. I
Yeah.
got to find something else and
Yeah.
be like, hey, I noticed those pants that you were holding up at the beginning. They're stupid and dumb.
Yeah.
It'd be funny if it was like dark in a different way, where you're like, so Jared Fogle likes to beat his wife. It's like a whole new, like, oh, what?
This is new information. But I do want to say the point of all of that, and then we should definitely firmly move on.
Yes.
Right?
Jared.
Which is what Jared's lawyer said.
Yeah.
But I will say, we've given a lot of attention to Subway with this. Rightfully
Yeah.
so. Monsters, who knew?
Yep.
Anybody who does that is fucking terrible.
Yeah, not cool.
It's a company doing a real bad thing, right?
It's not great.
You know what they did? Subway went, there's another thing that has franchises all over the country that has dealt with a lot of Jareds. Could we move them to a different Subway?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like the Catholic Church.
Yeah, that's funny.
But I will say, Jell-O, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Jell-O pudding.
It's weird because in my mind, the
Just
cause
a little bit. There you go.
the cause was associated with them, and then years later his allegations came out.
I think
Yeah,
it
yeah.
does seem like a different era.
I know. I don't think they were involved in
Right.
knowing or anything like that. No, it's not like Jell-O knew.
yeah.
But
That's the name of the episode. Is Jell-O new in caps?
but Jell-O lied and people died.
Yes.
Jell-O lied. Jell-O is such a funny name to
Yeah.
like curse.
Yeah. Jell-O. Jell-O didn't tell-O. But my thing is, because it's so tied, like everybody knows, whenever somebody does like a Cosby impression, they're like, "Oh, Jell-O pudding."
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
always say it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the Jell-O pudding people are like, "Don't do that. He did other things."
Yeah.
Stop saying that like that.
Please.
Yeah.
Please. We had no association.
Did Cosby like Jell-O or just Jell-O pudding?
Jell-O pudding.
didn't
In
like
my mind,
Jell-O.
it was Jell-O pudding pops, which
Oh.
were like
Different Jell-O
ice cream.
I specifically remember him
Well, maybe that's the case.
killing a
with
lid.
with a spoon and putting the spoon in and going, and his eyes go up.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
"Whoa,"
yeah.
right? Like he
He's
just saw
funny.
a Sleeping
He's
Beauty.
Good. He's great.
That's what. That's his
I don't like
unauthorized biography. is
I don't
called
like
Sleeping
pudding,
Beauty.
so I guess I'm kind of a hero.
You don't like pudding?
I don't like pudding.
I would have
Texture.
put so many. I would have put all my millions from the Fogle show.
Oh, wow.
Into you loving pudding.
It's a good
doesn't
thing
like-
all that money's in escrow.
He doesn't like pudding, yogurt, or Jell-O or bananas because of texture.
Yeah.
It's good that you have the list.
Yeah.
But there's other stuff.
It's for when we travel. Like if I'm throwing a fit, Chuck has to show it to the chef.
He's got his little baggie of Cheerios.
I did.
Bag of Cheerios.
Years ago,
Give him some Cheerios.
this just came back to me years and years ago when I was interviewing for housing jobs.
Yeah.
I arrived at the name of school and went out for dinner with some of the other resident directors, the people I would be working with.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the women like brought her, I don't know, 1.5-year-old, 1-year-old, infant. And so we're sitting around, and this kid made a freaking mess of there's Cheez-Its all over the place, like smashed into the floor.
Yeah.
And I understand being a parent is hard work. Sometimes these things happen. But this woman was like blithely ignorant of all of it.
Yeah, see,
and like we got up and left a mess. And I'm like, should I clean up after this woman's? Is this a test to see how I'd fit in? Am I willing?
Yeah.
I did not clean up, and I did not get that job offer. I got like a 4.5 minute long voicemail telling me I didn't get the job, and then found out from
And it
a
was
friend.
from the baby.
Yeah, found out from a friend. Yeah, it was a test. Found out from a friend that worked there. They're like, "Oh, you said too many bad things about your current employer," and I'm like, "I don't." Okay, I mean, I guess I did. I don't remember what was said.
Wow.
Oh, it's
in
like
this-
a date and you're talking too much about your ex.
Yeah, a
Right.
little bit.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was
That's
very
tough.
You
weird.
gotta say good things about your ex next time.
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you. I don't. I get what you mean with parents that are like that. That
Yeah.
are like oblivious to the chaos that their
Right.
child is creating. My wife and I can't. We don't abide. Like,
Yeah.
we can't handle that.
Yeah.
We could not allow ourselves to let that happen.
Right.
Nor could we let our son think that's okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, thankfully, like my son never did that stuff,
Right.
and we would always get comments from other people, either the waitress or waiter or
Right.
people around us, like your son is so well behaved, stuff like that. And I
And
go,
you're like,
mind your own fucking business.
better
Whoa.
be.
Yeah, he's shaking.
Yeah.
He's
Whoa.
terrified. I'd go Finn, and he'd go, and he would shit everywhere. No, but it is something I can't handle that stuff. Speaking of, this reminds me. Let's pivot into what we came here to do.
Yes.
right. Let's
Podcast.
Get them. Let's fucking get them. Well, this is an intervention.
Yeah, it's like that, but
It's
violent.
like that, but mean.
Outervention.
It's a mean vention.
Yeah.
Intervention?
It's a mean vention. We tie you down and beat
But
you.
so we talk about the parents thing though for a second.
Yeah, I wanted
Yeah.
to say a thing
Okay,
about
good.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
So speaking of parents being oblivious,
Yes.
I wanted to mention this. And I know we're past that point in time when this comes out of Halloween, right?
Yes.
But this was a Halloween-based thing that brings in Christmas, so we're right in between.
Perfect.
So this is
Thanksgiving just passed,
right.
so we're right in the middle.
Yeah, and our Thanksgiving episode was a smash hit.
It was.
God,
It's somehow
the cameo. No one
Did you
expected.
notice somehow top of the Billboard charts? How did that happen?
I don't understand it.
It's
Yeah.
weird, and people are listening to it on repeat.
And on iTunes, it jumped out of the podcasts and it went into world music and was
Yeah.
number 1.
Also, I got canceled.
You know what? Yeah, I did
That
see
did
that.
happen, yeah.
Yeah, it was
but your
weird.
apology was heartfelt.
It's
I
weird.
think.
I don't listen to
It's
Joe
a
Rogan.
Super Bowl halftime show.
I don't listen to Joe Rogan, but someone sent me a clip this week from his show. Did you hear what he did?
No.
He started and he's in his little chair. You know, he
Yeah.
sits there and he goes, "We can't compete with this. Roll it." And it just plays our Thanksgiving
Wow.
episode. And I was
Wow.
like, that's really
He did.
strange.
I heard about this. He did pause occasionally to say that vaccines are a hoax.
Yeah.
He did say
Just
that.
every once in a
but-
while.
And he said, Ray is so funny, vaccines are a hoax. And it's two things, and it's like hard to separate them.
I know. I didn't like that he said like, "Oh, that guy looks vaxxed" about me.
Oh, that's not what I heard. I heard something else.
Oh, whoops. Oh, by the way, so I had a stupid clip from stand up.
Yes.
Let me say this before I say the other thing. I guess
Yeah.
I had a stupid clip in stand up, and it went like viral. I don't like using that
Yeah.
word, but it did well.
Yes, you do.
I only medically, and it was it was fun, but it had to do with a Confederate flag thing.
Yeah.
And so, of course, people are just chiming in, and a ton of it was like, "I bet that guy's from this. I bet this guy's from that neighborhood, that neighborhood, that neighborhood." Rhode Island chiming in, stuff like that. And then there was one comment that, like, you could tell Confederate flag owners hated this clip.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, you're saying all people from the South are racist?
Yeah.
No, I didn't say that in the clip.
Yeah.
Also, no, because there's like other people there.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, it's where it started.
Yeah,
For the stuff, that's not where it started.
Yeah.
Started in New England.
That's where it really caught fire.
That's where it didn't want to end.
Yes, right. Yeah.
We just got here. Come on.
Oh, come on. It's Brad with a big white hat being fanned and hammered.
Well, at least let me have 2 or 3 more generations, please. Let me own people just let my grandkids own their grandkids.
Yeah.
But yeah,
After that,
we'll call it.
Yeah.
How about till computers? Can we do that?
Till computers is really funny.
Once we get computers, we can switch it over.
You're not from the future, are you?
What?
Brad's like,
What?
no.
What are those things he calls pudding packs?
Look what he does with his eyes.
He keeps saying to all of these plantation owners, "This is a big hit where I come from.
okay.
Kids are gonna love it."
Yeah.
And then he does the Cosby.
This is your cousin, Marvin Cosby. Listen to this. And it's Brad's eyes going.
He's silly dancing to light jazz. What a
I'm
fun horror
America's
movie.
father.
The father we deserve.
Oh my God.
Well, we now know who the first person on Brad's Mount Rushmore would be. Bill Cosby, mid-pudding orgasm, just
I love the idea of
his
Brad.
Jell-O face.
Oh,
Yes,
that's so
that-
funny. Oh
That
my
is great.
God.
We did it.
So,
Oh, yeah.
your Confederate flag friends.
Yeah,
The comments.
Yeah, they and one of them was like, "Bet this guy's vaxxed," and that's all it said. and then underneath that, it was like a bunch of other Confederate flag guys that were just like, "Totally, 100%." And I'm like, "Is that
Oh yeah.
an insult that they do now?"
Yeah, it's basically adjacent to cuck.
Yeah, it's like saying like, "Oh, this guy's woke."
Yeah.
It's like this guy's vaxxed.
It's a sheep thing, I think, right?
Yeah,
It's kind of like that.
I know, it's so bizarre, but it was really strange to read that. But yeah, I have some of those comments. I should read you guys some of the
Actually, can I read you a couple
YouTube
comments that I
comments.
thought were hilarious that I got this week
on what?
on a joke?
Oh, okay, but
Yeah.
it was a thing, and then I'll say my weird Halloween Thanksgiving. Yeah,
Yeah. So I put up. This is my joke that I put up this week. It's just a small thing. I just put it up. I said, "Can we acknowledge that Halloween is a strange holiday? Christmas is all about celebrating joy and love and joy. Thanksgiving is about family and gratitude. Halloween is about tits and murder. If Halloween had sponsors, it would be brought to you by Pornhub and Charles Manson.
I read that and I took umbrage with it because
Okay, ready?
I'm a parent and I think that changes things.
All right, ready? This is from a guy. This is the comments I got. Says the people engaging in cannibalistic blood ritual every Sunday morning.
It's communion,
Okay,
body and
That's
blood.
what
Christ.
that was in response to me.
sure.
Next comment. Enjoy your zombie carpenter fairy tale, pal.
Easter.
Why am I being accused
Yeah.
of being like a religious? Isn't that weird?
Yeah, that is weird.
From that?
Yeah.
Because I'm guessing it's because I said that Christmas is about love and joy.
Yeah, I
Does
think
that make me religious?
I think
does
someone could read that as not a joke, which is dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A dumb person could read that and go, "This guy's being sincere."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so unbeknownst to them, it's like, no, this guy's like joking around. He's on your side, essentially.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
It's-
that kind of stuff is crazy. Like in this Confederate flag thing.
Yeah.
I had somebody say, because in the joke that I did with the guy, because I said you're wearing a Confederate flag necklace.
Yes.
Yeah.
I asked him where he was from. He said Rhode Island, and I said you're wearing a Confederate flag necklace, and he said I'm from Southern Rhode Island. It's funny. That's a
funny.
funny
Very funny,
response.
yes.
I laughed.
Yep.
And then played with that for a little while.
Yeah,
and the clip that
very funny.
Yeah, the clip that I kept was I was like, oh, you got to go see his Civil War collection. Whenever you go over his house, he's like, oh, look, I've got my Civil War seashells.
Yes.
This is a Robert E. Lee sand dollar, right?
Right.
It's so weird because your take on the joke to me is a great example of pivoting to a different place than the
Yeah, yeah.
obvious place.
Right. Yeah.
Which is not the big attack thing.
Right.
Which,
yeah.
so it was so
Let me
weird.
take this and go into an absurd place.
Yeah, but I did see a bunch of the comments. Yeah,
Yeah,
So-
and obviously there's the people that are like, people don't understand the flag. You need to read your history and
Yeah.
put it on. I'm like, oh no, I have.
Yeah.
yeah,
You know,
I know.
whose word could we take about this? Whose word? Maybe the states that were trying to secede
Yeah.
wrote like a document on why they were. Maybe it came from their own fucking racist mouths.
Yeah.
Right? And then people being like, you think that the North was good and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, no, there were racists fucking everywhere.
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
But we're talking about the Civil War.
Yeah, right.
And, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it was very silly. But yeah, seeing comments of that nature were very strange. There was one I was going to say and I completely forgot it. It went away.
I think I might know. Is it the one about your feed? I loved that one.
Oh, yeah, there was a guy that was like, get off my feed, you simp, and stuff like that. And I'm like, what is this? And somebody else had commented, like, that commenting on this ensures that more of this stuff will
Yeah.
show up.
Yeah, right.
And I had just written back, like, I'll get right on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll go talk to the algorithm, and I'll get right on it. And then he started calling me a wigger
Ooh.
Whoa.
in the comments.
Yeah, that's one I haven't heard in a while.
Yeah, and I'm
Well,
like,
it doesn't even apply to Ray.
But his implication is like somehow I am a white guy who is like sympathetic to black people, and therefore that's what I am.
Yeah.
Like a N-word lover.
Yeah,
that kind
exactly,
of thing.
yes,
And it's like,
yes.
dude, you're just a racist. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
chill.
That's
Like,
it, yeah.
calm the fuck down.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. But some of those comments were...
that guy's the second guy on my Mount Rushmore.
I wish I had prepared some of these comments because they are truly wild. Yeah, they're nuts. Like somebody saying, like, let's get over this stuff. It happened freaking 300 years ago. Okay, and I wrote back like, do you think slavery ended in 1723?
I know. It's so weird. People are so weird.
Before this country was founded?
Yes.
Is that what you think?
Yeah.
It is bizarre. I should have written a list of the funny ones, but regardless. So this is what happened. We're talking about
Parents.
oblivious
Yes.
parents earlier. This drove me crazy. So for Halloween, my son's school does a thing called trunk or treat.
Right.
yeah.
Decorate a trunk, you do a thing, whatever. And he went this year. And there was all the families can do what they want if they sign up to do a trunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this family had signed up for a trunk. And we're at the thing, and I see
So sign up to do a trunk is you're providing a trunk with treats for kids to go trick or treat at.
Decorated trunk.
Yeah, you
Oh,
decorate it
cool.
and you make it your own
Oh.
and do your kind of thing. It's almost
I
like
like
having
that.
a booth,
Yeah.
right? And you do your thing there.
I never saw that.
It's fun. Next year we're gonna do one where it's like vintage Halloween stuff, right? That's
Right.
gonna be fun.
That's cool.
And so this one, like my wife, Kalina, she sees Santa Claus. There's a Santa Claus, a guy dressed up as Santa, and she's like, "Oh, that's funny." Like somebody had a Santa costume
Sure.
Yeah.
for Christmas and wore it for Halloween. That's funny. Then she saw Mrs. Claus. Then she saw the two kids dressed as elves. Then she saw the trunk all decorated for Christmas, and it was like a little workshop-y thing. And so
Haunted workshop?
Nope. So this family went full on December 20th on this trunk. And I saw that and I got so mad. I didn't say anything.
Right.
I got so mad at this situation. And it felt like an insult. It really did, because I love Halloween.
Right.
I love Halloween.
Me too.
And Christmas, I love Christmas. It's
Yeah.
fun, it's great, but we can all agree that the Christmas creep is real, severe, and like it won't end.
Yeah.
It's gonna take everything.
Yes.
The Christmas creep is the phrase of meaning like all of the commercial stuff for Christmas starts earlier and earlier every year.
Yeah.
And like there were Christmas decorations already going in like Target or whatever that I went into even before Halloween happened.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
It just starts earlier and earlier. And like my wife, her favorite is Christmas, and she loves it, and that's great. And I was saying to her, I'm like, you get 2 months. You get 2 months out of 12 to enjoy Christmas, because it starts in November.
Wow.
And everything goes from there. You get all this time with Christmas. Halloween gets 1 month maybe.
Right.
Right?
Oh yeah.
And I love Halloween. And to see that, I was like, get the fuck out of here. Like, that's going to happen tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the day after Halloween is November 1st, where everybody in their brains go, Christmas is coming, and they just start
Yeah,
feeling
yeah.
that thing. I got so mad seeing. Well, how do you feel about like someone dressing in not even just like it's funny because I'm in a Santa costume,
Right.
but a full-on ho 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 Merry Christmas. Here's our entire decorated thing. It's Santa's Wonderland. Get out of it. You're gonna get 2 months of it.
See, this is. Go ahead, Brad.
I think it's weird because in a vacuum, I think it's hilarious.
Me too.
Sure.
But I understand your point of view, and
And the person wasn't trying to be funny.
I guess what determines it for me is next year, are they Santa again, or are they Easter, or
That's
the
what I
4th of
was just
July or
thinking.
something?
Yeah.
The
I
was
idea of
gonna say
them
the
dressing
exact
up
same thing.
as the other holidays,
Yeah.
hilarious.
Well, that's.
But it's an elementary school.
right. It's hilarious for me, like
Yeah.
Let me process this, because like it's funny, because here's what I think. I love Halloween.
Yeah.
And there is a part of me that's like, we only get so much time. But I feel like that about.
There's no Halloween creep. Nobody's
Right.
September 1st. Halloween's coming.
I disagree with that, because when I see Halloween stuff in August, I do feel the Halloween creep thing. I think that Halloween creep is a thing.
I think fall.
PSL
people
creep.
want fall.
Yeah, PSL creep.
I think that. Oh, that's interesting. Is there a distinction? This is tough.
Yeah.
It's very tough, because like I feel like I'm like, I love Christmas.
Yep.
I love Halloween just as much.
You love every
And I
holiday.
think-
Chuck's like, Bastille Day's coming up.
I think I might even like Thanksgiving as much as all that stuff. For me, I always tell people when my birthday hits, August 2nd, I'm like, September 1st is around the corner, and we basically get like 4 months of holiday stuff. Because to me, September 1st, not necessarily Halloween, but the fall idea turns into Halloween.
I do think there's a fall. I wouldn't call it a creep though, because it's people at the tail end of summer being like, I can't wait for fall.
Yeah.
I want it to be fall. And I think Halloween is that first fall idea. November, late November for Thanksgiving, you can get into winter territory, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that comes in.
That's
But
interesting.
I think what you see mostly is people being like, I can't wait for it to be fall. I want it to be fall.
Yeah.
Versus like Halloween creep happening.
Right.
I agree. It's funny because there are like specific the holidays are specific shades, which are like
Yeah.
Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. Then there's the broad shades, which are fall, the winter. You know what I mean?
Venetian.
It's weird, but it is an interesting thing to kind of differentiate.
Yeah.
I like the idea. If you're gonna pull Christmas into Halloween,
Yeah.
which is something I always have liked, to me, like Nightmare Before Christmas
Sure,
is
sure.
awesome. Like the juxtaposition is cool.
Yeah.
But when you're just kind of like, this is going to be 0% Halloween and 100% Christmas on
Yeah.
Halloween, very hard for me to support.
And specifically
Yeah.
within that realm for an elementary school trunk or treat
Right.
event.
yeah, it's tough. You're right, because it's
Yeah.
for kids who are not going to understand.
Right.
There's no comedy in
there's
that.
No comedy.
It's literally a family. It felt like to me a family that was just like, we love Christmas.
Yeah.
Let's do it here. And my thing is, you have taken advantage of the fun of Halloween because you came in with your costume,
Right.
and we're dressed like this thing. Bullshit, because no one could show up to a Christmas party dressed as Dracula. Okay?
Yes, they can.
I mean, they can, and it would be fun. But you know what I mean, though, right? You
I
never
do agree.
see Halloween stuff pop up in Christmas.
Can I bridge the gap a little bit? Maybe some understanding. I'll
You can
sprinkle it.
bridge that gap, but I think that gap is I will burn that bridge down.
It's the Temple of Doom bridge.
Yeah.
Here's my bridging of the gap.
You can see that during Halloween, not during
Christmas
Christmas.
is very insular in terms of you spend it with people you know, your family, your close people. Halloween is a lot more public facing because of trick or treaters are inviting a stranger to, in the kids mostly, to like come see, come see like your house and be like, oh, you see their costumes.
Which is weird because you just take kids on tours of your home,
Yeah.
and it's not even decorated, but you're talking about it, and you constantly are like, I have another one.
Yeah.
I have another
but
one.
I was gonna
Look
say
at this
like
Donkey Kong.
so with Christmas, you don't get the opportunity to say. I guess I'll put it this way: if you said Chuck and Brad,
yeah.
this is me and Brad doing it. You're going to be at Finn's Trick or Treat.
Trink or treat.
Trick or treat.
Trink or treat.
And
I got a trinket.
And like you were like, if someone said you guys have to be a Christmas car. I think we could have a lot of fun with that. But to me, it would be about existing in Halloween tropes and
Yeah.
pulling Christmas into it.
I think
Yeah,
Santa's Haunted Workshop
It's
is
fun.
an amazing
Love it.
idea.
And also, but I was going to say, like with Halloween, it's like there's all these traditional things you give out for trick or treat.
Yeah.
It would be fun to figure out the Christmas stuff and how to incorporate it.
Sure.
That's fun.
That's all fun and creative. This was point
I
blank.
get it.
We're just doing Christmas, guys.
I get
you know
it.
What I mean?
I
And
get
it irritated me because Christmas has so much. It's become such a behemoth.
Yes.
Right? The Christmas creep happens, and it's like, oh my God, it's happening now. And there are people already like, I'm listening to Christmas music in my car and doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think part of it too is, we're losing fall with climate change,
Yes.
right? Like we are
Oh,
losing fall.
I think we're losing. I think fall is getting bigger, and I think we're losing winter.
Oh, sure. Weather-wise,
Yeah.
like I think we have really mild winters, but I'm talking about like that perfect,
Yeah.
like fall. The leaves are still
you're right.
colorful.
Yeah.
You're right.
I think we get an extended period of like dead brown leaves on the ground, bare trees, and it's still cold, but we're not getting like a ton of snow.
Like
Right.
winter cold.
Yeah. This I mean like
Yeah, you're right.
perfect sweatshirt weather. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you're
Like
right.
that
does-
beautiful time.
It's weird because it's almost like summer was here, winter was here, and fall was here, and it does feel like winter and summer are squeezing.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
interesting.
Yeah,
Lot
yeah,
of
yeah.
creep.
Yeah, so we
Creeps.
get less and less
Lot
of
of
my
creeps.
favorite season, guys. And so when I see this Christmas thing happen,
Me too.
I was just I turned into a child where it was almost like, no, it's Stevie's birthday today.
Yeah.
You get the fuck out of here. It's
Yeah.
like, to me, that was the equivalent of like that family wanting to blow the candles out.
That's,
Yeah.
And
that's
it's like,
yeah,
stop it.
yeah.
Stop
I'll
it.
tell you who
have
has that
your day.
attitude on August 2nd.
My birthday, right?
Did you ever see
Wasn't your first reaction on 9/11 like, oh, thank God they waited?
Did you ever Did you ever see the video of like it's one kid's birthday and kid number 2 wants to blow out the candles?
And the dad with the plate.
And the dad keeps putting the plate in front of him and the kid's freaking out?
Yeah.
That video is fucking awesome.
To me, it's like, it's sort of like that.
Yes.
Where I was so mad at that family.
Yes.
Like the kids, it's not their fault. They don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Hopefully when they grow up, they realize how horrific their parents were.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And obviously I think that the FBI should look into those 2 parents.
Yeah.
Check their hard drives.
Right.
Okay? Look under the beds. Check the closets. All the things.
Yeah.
Something's going
Crawl
on in that
space.
family.
Probably
Probably crawl space.
Yeah, and it's a big box labeled like Christmas decorations.
Yeah.
But it's body parts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because they're twisted.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to bring that up because I was so, it really did hit me, you know? And also there's a thing of like Christmas, I feel like the end of Christmas peters out. We draw it out to New Year's Eve,
Yep.
right? Everybody leaves the decorations up. The tree still stays. Like we're still in it. You know what I mean?
Those people who put up decorations, enjoy it.
Sure.
I haven't put up decorations in 6 years.
Well,
7 years.
you won't decorate anything.
No, I won't.
You refuse.
Yeah.
You know garlands for you.
No.
Not even Judy.
Nope.
You
Jeff.
said, I'm glad she's dead. And that's awful.
Well, you know what? She'd be very old if she were still alive. I question her quality of life.
That was a great response. Yeah. That was such a good little bitch response.
I'm just desperately trying to think of a Wizard of Oz connection to make, but it doesn't matter. But yeah, it is. It's a thing for me. Like that happens.
There's no place like hell. That's not bad.
Yeah. And you were there. And
Where did
you were there?
Jared. This Robert E. Lee.
With this chicken teriyaki.
The cause.
Oh man, that's our new T-shirt.
No, it's not.
Is Jared Fogle,
Yes.
Lady in the Tramping with Robert E. Lee. A new chicken teriyaki sandwich from Subway.
It is
And
not.
we're like the Italian like band in the background serenading.
No, we're not.
And there's a word bubble on Jared that said, I told you guys for years, all I want to do is eat fresh. Only the freshest. Only the freshest.
Gut.
meats for
Stop.
me. Hey kids, how many of you can fit in my old fat pants? Let's see.
The wiggle. Come on, Timmy. There's room for one more.
Let's see.
Gross. I do. I feel like we've spent a lot of time on that subject today. And
That's
I'm like,
you know what? And more people should. I think we
think
should
more
get the
people should.
word
They
out.
should.
Yeah.
I think the word is out.
I don't know.
But people just sort of shrug and go, but I'll get the sandwich. You know?
That's true.
I think I won't rest on this Subway issue until every Subway is closed
Okay.
and done. You know?
Yep.
Can I
Why
tell-
is it that I am more turned off when I see a D'Angelo's sign than I am when I see a Subway sign and I know the horrible crimes that Subway
I
helped?
love D'Angelo's.
D'Angelo's is such a higher quality product. It's crazy. I always wonder. You know what's funny? This is one of the things it's too big of a discussion to have.
Yeah.
But don't you hate that? Like, it doesn't seem like quality almost ever is the main deciding factor
Of course, yeah.
of something that gets to the highest level of whatever thing they're in.
Yeah.
With the exception of this podcast, I'd agree with you. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
I think we're exactly where we're supposed to be.
Oh.
I think
I hate that,
I
though.
think where we excel is hospital radio.
Yeah.
Hospice radio.
Hospice radio, yeah.
Oh,
Come on,
God.
you're gonna go.
The idea that this would be the last thing someone hears before they shuffle
no,
off
at first
the
they're
mortal
like,
coil.
there's so much beauty in the world, I don't want to go. And then they play Funbearable,
Yeah,
and they're like, I'm
That's what I was
okay.
gonna say. They play Funbearable for the folks that are hanging on too long.
Yeah.
So after the family says it's okay, you can go. It's okay, we'll
Yes.
be all right, and they still hang on. And that's like, well, I don't want to be horrible and pull the cord, right?
But what I'm going to do is I'm going to press play. I'm going to walk out of the room.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. And we have a 3-episode guarantee. That's why the episodes are so long. But I want to know from our viewer listeners, truly, this trunk or treat situation.
Yeah.
it hit me. I didn't realize I felt so firmly about it.
Yeah.
But I did. I had a visceral reaction. I was polite.
Yes.
But I did very much do the thing with Kalina, like, you gonna fucking say over here, fucking
Yeah.
fucking people, right? Like doing that stuff, and I really was bothered by it. So I want to know from our viewer listeners, please reach out to us at funbearables@gmail.com or on our socials, and let us know what you think of that. Like, do you think it's cool and good for this family to come and put a whole Christmas display up during Halloween?
I know. It's tough.
Or do you also feel this way, where it's like, that's wrong?
I'll say if you were there with Chuck Staten instead of Kalina.
Are you playing Santa's advocate right now?
I am not playing Santa's advocate. I'm telling you that if you were there with Chuck Staten and you were like, oh, that couple decorated their car like Christmas,
Yeah.
what would Chuck's reaction be? Awesome!
Yeah.
Do you think they have candy canes?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. I will say it's tough, and I think that we all go through this. As you get older, your criticism stuff becomes softer, and you start saying like, well, maybe, and you start trying to like kind of understand people's motivation more. And so there's part of me that's being pulled there, but I am kind of like, man, like we do get such a small amount of time for Halloween, and Christmas is already dominating so much. And I love Christmas.
Sure.
And I love Christmas too.
Of course, yeah.
But it is kind of like, come on. If they were, like I said, if they were doing it in a creative, fun way, which this is not the environment for that, I don't think.
Yeah.
Like, I'll put it this way. If they had a house, if their house for trick-or-treating they made like Christmassy and they adapted Christmas stuff to it for kids to come up on Halloween, that's cool.
I guess.
That's different.
I guess. I would still roll my eyes.
What if they had hot chocolate?
I would still roll my eyes. I'd be impressed with the commitment to the bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also wouldn't let Finn drink that hot chocolate.
No.
Really?
No.
Yeah, you just don't do that.
What if he's like, Daddy, this looks tasty?
Yeah, I'd be like, who are you? That is not my son.
So he
Yeah,
talks.
you
I would immediately lift the mask and be like, who are you?
He's Veruca Salt.
I want the chocolate now, Daddy.
you look at the mailbox and the name is Cosby Fogle, and you're like,
Yeah, don't drink that. Don't drink that. Don't
drink that.
Don't drink that.
Oh, that's funny.
But it really did bother me. I want to know if people are the same on this.
Yeah.
My thing is just like, look, I like Christmas. I like Halloween. Let's do both.
I know.
When they're happening.
I do love the combo, but you got to do it in a fun way.
And
a
I do
smart
think
way.
the point there of like the idea of like they could take advantage of it and do it during Halloween. No one would do that during Christmas.
Yeah.
No one is going to a thing.
You know what you
all
should do?
Halloweeny.
Here's what we should do.
Find them and kill
Find them, right? We wait for them to throw their annual Christmas party.
Yeah.
We dress up.
With animal masks,
yes.
and we You're Next them.
Yes.
I was
The
gonna
movie
say
You're Next.
What
the
if we
home
would-
invasion film.
we dress up as the Three Stooges, but zombies, and we show up at that Christmas party.
Okay.
We're throwing out Reese's bats. We're I don't know, other stuff.
We're bobbing for apples.
Yeah, we're bobbing for
Yeah.
haunted wormy apples.
Yeah.
Brad brings his skeleton body in and kooks everybody out. Like, that's pretty good.
Yeah. No,
but-
it really irritated the crap out of me. I really didn't like it. But that's me. I don't know. I do think it would be hilarious to just be like, nope, we're Halloween when it's Christmas.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That'd
Yeah.
be great.
I like both.
There's actually, I wanted to bring up something to you guys. And it's funny because I didn't really think about it like officially, but I wanted to bring it up because I didn't know if you guys heard about this or saw this. But there's a new documentary on Hulu that came out in October called Monsters Inside.
I don't like documentaries on Hulu. I think they're crappy. I think Hulu picks the worst documentaries.
Oh, I disagree.
There's
Well,
one.
the
that-
Big
there's
Brother
one. that-
one,
There's
It was a joke.
There's. I was gonna say. There's one that I saw a few years ago called "Be a Man" that was trash.
that's
Total
fine.
trash.
I
Total trash.
Well, it's funny because
That was the joke.
I do think that different entities produce higher quality ones.
Oh, sure.
Like the HBO ones are usually.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So-
no, I agree. But we didn't have HBO money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So-
We didn't even have 30 for 30 money.
So they made a documentary called Monsters Inside or something like that. Did you hear about this documentary?
You hear about this, folks?
Did you hear about it?
You told me about it.
I don't know. Monsters Inside. What
So-
is that? Is that furries
So
or?
this is what I wanted to bring up. At first, it's like I saw just like a tagline, very short, like one sentence, and it was like about like the world's like Craziest Haunt, which is basically like a haunted house experience, but
Is this
extreme.
about that crazy guy
So that's the thing is, I
that
thought
doesn't even have a haunted house? He's just a weird torture guy.
So this is what I thought. I thought that it was going to be about the house, and I thought that Monsters Inside was going to imply that like who would want to do this.
Yeah.
But then I watched the documentary right before I was going to watch the movie, and it's not really about what he does. It's almost like an expose from the people that have been affected by it mentally.
Oh yeah, it's horrible.
And so I think it's called McKamey Manor or McKamey. I think it's McKamey Manor.
I think it is McKamey.
McKamey. And this guy, do you know about this?
Macrame Manor.
Macabre me.
That's Brad's.
Macabre
Brad's
me
is
in the
Macrame
face.
Manor.
Mine is macaroni manor. No sauce.
Too spicy. These buttered noodles are spicy.
So do you know about this guy, Brad?
I do not.
And Brad, you know a little bit about him?
No, I know it. I know it. Yeah.
So it's
Tell Brad. He's ignorant.
Yeah.
yeah. So basically, what it is
Actually, let's show him.
this
Let's
is-
do it.
This from what I understand, as an individual, you would basically send in like an audition tape, almost like a TV show, and be like, I want to be picked to be on McKamey Manor.
He also will request in those videos like specific things to humiliate yourself, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you could do like this.
Seriously.
Being on this podcast.
I guess, and I mean, it didn't really go into this. I don't know how many people submit and don't get chosen or anything, but like you would do something crazy on a video, be like, I can withstand this, and you would, like eat a raw, like a tarantula or something.
Well,
bizarre.
for Brad, it's like eat a pepper.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's Jell-O.
Yeah. It's so wiggly.
But
I don't like it because it's the consistency of my own bones.
that's funny. But so people would submit these videos to be chosen for McKamey Manor, which I guess has a large Facebook presence.
Yeah.
And then you get chosen, and they're going to be like, you have to make it this many hours. And if you make it this many hours of going through this haunt experience,
Hold on. Not even going into the manor yet.
Oh.
You don't get into the manor yet. You have to go through a period of torture that is an indeterminate amount of time to earn the right to go into the manor. He used to have an actual like haunted house, McKamey
yes,
Manor.
he started a long time ago.
That stopped. I can't remember if it was a divorce or if it was another issue, but he lost like a bunch of the stuff.
Yes.
And so he supposedly started it back up. And the expose thing I was watching actually pointed out that for quite a while now, no one's made it to the manor. No one's made it up to the house. It starts in front of the house, and you have to like do a whole bunch of horrible stuff. You're crawling through like sewer area stuff.
So the documentary thing made it like that's part of it. And basically, if you make it a certain amount of hours, I don't know if it's 48 or whatever, you basically get $20,000. And no one has made it.
Yeah.
But it's also not a situation where you have a safe word. He chooses if he thinks that you can't take anymore.
Oh.
Which is really shitty.
People are saying stop. People are saying,
even
I'm done.
Well, even people that are saying, no, I can keep going. He can say with 5 minutes left, you can't take anymore, and avoid paying the $20,000.
But it used to be more like closer to what you're talking about, but genuinely more recently.
Okay.
People aren't even making it to the quote unquote haunted house.
Wow.
It's not happening anymore. All they do is they show up and they're in like the front area, and he just tortures the shit out of them outside for hours. And then we'll be like, okay, well, we got to stop now. Because it like got dark or whatever it is, come back tomorrow. And then you have to start tomorrow and do more of it. And there's a lot of like, oh, hang on, my battery's died in my camera. Let me go recharge. Let me go grab a battery thing. And you're just left in a place for a while.
Yeah,
because he films everything like for legal, quote unquote, legal purposes. So he can say, look, you agreed to do this thing. But really, most of it's just going up on Facebook Live.
Yes.
And people are watching it.
Yes.
And it's just torture.
It's like legit like torture. Like it's like crawling through like, chicken wire and like dumping like ice cold water on you and kind of.
People are getting, they're bruised up, they're beaten up.
So
they get waterboarded full on.
They get waterboarded. He broke someone's ribs and stuff like that.
How long do you guys think you would make it?
Well, he's supposed to talk. He's supposed to find out your biggest fears, and he uses those.
Intimacy.
So let's see. What's Ray's
A
biggest
lot of
fear?
the funniest thing though is like a lot of it is
For Ray's biggest fear is he does Christmas stuff instead of haunted stuff.
no, I'm fine with the Christmas shit. I just don't want to do it on Halloween.
I know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think like a lot of the ism, like what you just said, he finds your biggest fears and stuff. Maybe he was doing that earlier. It really has devolved, and he's just doing the laziest, straight up torture.
That's
it.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
It was really interesting because they sat down with maybe 4 or 5 like victim people and they told their story. But it was really weird because it was kind of like skirting exactly what was happening during these things. Like it'll show you like he does this and he does this, but it doesn't really show you exactly how bad it gets. Like they'll be like, yeah, this person walked away with broken ribs.
Yeah.
But they don't really explain what happened between the person shows up and now they have broken ribs. I don't know if he beats you up. I don't know what happens.
Yeah.
But it's a very weird. It was a really weird documentary, and it made me want to look more into it. But I'm like, how is this guy just like functioning? How is he walking around doing this?
You should check out. There's a YouTube person.
I figured.
Who has been doing like a really deep dive expose, and it's current, and it's like continual episodes of this are coming out, and it's like it's a very well made investigative thing, and it's like this young kid that's just like going through and figuring everything out and kind of making that's where I've gotten a lot of this information. I've also read articles about this guy, but this is the most recent information, and it's super interesting. And the kid actually went and did the thing.
Wow.
And sure enough, like it was like 3 days. He was staying at a hotel. He basically show up, get tortured for the day, and then go back to the hotel and come back and be tortured for the day. And it was stuff that all happened like on the front lawn.
Yeah.
And they're just like, nope, you're not ready. You're not going to make it in the house and blah, blah, blah. And that was all the stuff. It was just shit.
It's very, very odd.
Yeah.
It's funny too because
all of that for macaroni.
I've heard about like the extreme haunts over the years and stuff like that. And like, you know, I honestly, like I like Halloween. I like scary movies. I'm such a baby. I can't even really do like haunted houses where people consistently jump scare you.
Sure.
Because it just, I don't like that feeling. So I'm already like, even the stuff that would be like normal and not a big deal for people, I think I'm not good at doing. Like I can't go to Universal Studios and have those fucking zombies chasing me and running around.
We went, I think 9 years ago, and it was a lot of shrieking and squealing from old Satan over here.
Yeah.
Before you even got in the park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, somebody, he'd be like, oh my God, and he'd put me in front of him.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
That's exactly what would happen.
Yeah.
oh.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Like if the two of you did McKamey Manor,
Yep.
Okay.
I really think a lot of it would be Chuck constantly trying to throw you under the bus, Brad. I think a lot of it would be like they're doing
like
a
a
torture
literal,
to
a
Chuck.
literal
Like,
bus.
Brad didn't eat all his
Yeah.
earthworms. Brad didn't eat all his earthworms.
Yeah, and or you'd be just like, Brad also hates this, and like,
You know, it's funny.
It's weird because the stuff I hate is so dumb. Chuck has to eat earthworms. I have to eat a salad with dressing on it.
and you're like,
I would definitely.
Although-
I quit.
I feel by the end of this, it would be Chuck has been released from the torture
Yeah.
and is now leading the
I was
torture.
gonna
Oh,
say,
yeah.
By the end of it, I've definitely talked my way onto the torturer's team.
Yeah.
What's like a reverse? What's it called when you're kidnapped and you
Stockholm
a
syndrome.
reverse Stockholm syndrome where they accept me as part of them? That would be great.
Oh man, I really think that would happen. For me, doing a McKamey, I think I would just hit a point, and I'm like, I think I would just look at them like point blank and just go, I'm gonna start fighting back. I know it's gonna happen.
I know.
I'm gonna fight you.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
No.
And you can, yes, I know I have these plastic wrist ties on to keep me tortured and stuff, but like, I'm gonna swing my head.
I know,
I'm
yeah.
gonna kick.
I'm gonna bite you.
I'm gonna pee on you.
Something's gonna happen.
I'll
to
shit
this
my
guy.
pants and rub it in your face. I don't care.
It's just so
You
weird
know?
because like so many things have come out where people get a lot of hate and people against them for such smaller things.
Yeah.
That it's really shocking to me that this guy has been able to exist for so long doing this. It's confusing to me.
I think there's a stupid thing where it has brought out, the baser side of people and the
Yeah.
shitty thing. And he protects himself with, you have to sign all these things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it starts too. I forgot that part. He does like a weird mind torture thing where there's a huge document that he starts going through, and it's the release, and you have to read it out loud, and it's hours.
Oh, I'm sure.
yeah.
Of reading this thing out loud that is including like so many possibilities and random things.
Yeah.
Like some people check out before, or they call it and
Before they're done.
before they're even done with that.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that. And I think he's cultivated like an audience of those, live videos
Yeah.
that they just want to see people tortured.
I think this
You
is
know?
probably the same people who are like psyched about like death videos. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
probably the same kind of audience, I
Yeah.
guess.
The people that loved BME Pain Olympics.
Yo, yeah.
That horrible viral video.
You don't know about the BME Pain Olympics?
No, I don't.
Dude, there was a guy who like took his dick, he put it on a wooden board and just fucking nailed a nail through it. No, I'm very kind to my little dick.
Can we just someone has a new ringtone. I'm very kind to my little dick. I'm very kind to my little dick. Oh, Chuck's calling me. Just voicemail it. That's-
Yes.
You know I treat him with very
So
much
a guy just,
gentle, fragile.
just tortured himself?
That's, I mean, that BMEP, from what I remember, because
yeah.
I can't remember it super specifically, but it's almost like people are competing.
Yeah, they're doing horrible mutilations to their own genitals.
well,
and it was
that-
bad. I don't want to talk about that anymore.
No.
Well, listen, we're rounding out an hour here. You know what's funny? I think it's funny that we talked about the Halloween thing, and I was like, Halloween is over when it's over. There's no Halloween creep, and blah blah blah, and it's done on the 31st.
And it's been a month.
we talked about Halloween now.
Yeah.
Who knows when this was recorded?
Recently.
Right.
Let's say
I
recent.
Oh, you know what? Let's take it out of Halloween times. I got one last topic that I think is interesting.
Hit me with it.
Boy, oh boy. So for the past couple of years, I have been trying to get on an anti-anxiety medication,
Yeah.
right? And I talked to my doctor a long time ago, and I was like, I think I should have something. And he was like, I'm going to put you on like Zoloft, which is an SSRI. And I'm like, all right, whatever. And right away, like this is part of this. I couldn't have orgasms.
Yeah.
And I'm like, switch me on a different one. He put me on a different one. And eventually it was just like, I was like, all right, it's a little bit weird. That's the only side effect it was giving me was that. And then it became slighter. So I'm like, oh, it's affecting me a little bit. I'm a little bit less bunch in a row, right? But this is my Hold
McKamey
on,
Manor
hold on.
right now. I don't like
But I
any
don't know
of
if I
this.
ever,
Tapping out.
I don't know if I ever said this. This is the reason I had to have spine surgery last year, is because of like, do you know about this?
Look at my face of befuddlement and horror.
I hurt my back. Brad was there when I hurt my back like 2 years ago because me and
How are these two things?
They're not.
they are.
They're not.
They are.
Because right now, before you give me any further information, what I have deduced,
They're
what I
not
have
related.
surmised-
It's an incorrect.
Well, let me say my deduction here. Let me lose this game of Clue.
Yes.
I believe that Chuck Staten injured his spine
Yes.
when he came too hard with Brad.
Incorrect.
No, here's what happened. We all know that. I think the listeners know that we all have bulging discs in our back. Like Brad and I have had surgery. You haven't had surgery, but you do have the same thing.
Yeah. I'm uncut.
And one of the
We've been cut twice each.
My herniated disc is uncut.
But so one of the things I do to just keep my back like feeling loose and good is I just like exercise. I just do
Yeah, yeah.
stretches and I walk. It's just whatever.
Sure.
But during the winter, it gets harder because it gets so cold that it's like I get more. I don't want to be outside as much, and I get really tensed up. So Brad and I one day were writing something in the winter, and I was like, "Yeah, I feel really like tensed up because I haven't been able to walk." I'm like, "Do you want to go for a walk today? It's during the day, the sun's out," and he's like, "Sure." And it was like January 2nd or something like that, maybe the 1st.
Yeah, we were at a weird coffee shop.
Yeah, Groundswell or something.
When does the jizzing happen?
Well, so basically what happened was we went outside to walk, but it was like fucking real cold, and I was like, all tensed up.
Oh, you did it. You masturbated to keep warm.
No, so I was like,
We had to keep each other warm.
I was like, let me just kind of like move around, and I was like trying to like rotate my hips and like move my elbows, and I kind of was like kicking and like trying to just get my muscles moving, and I did this crazy kick, and I'm like,
Imagine a neighbor looking out their window, just seeing two guys walking, and one
of whom is walking normally.
Yeah, and
the
one
other
is
who is
doing
violently twisting and
ghost
kicking.
karate,
Yeah.
right?
I never talked about this in the podcast. Now that I'm a little far away, I can talk about it because it was almost 2 years ago now. And when I kicked one time, I like felt that I kind of like pulled something. Something happened in my lower back, and I was like, it feels weird. It feels really weird. And my leg was hurting a little bit. Like when you have like this disc thing, what it does is it presses on a nerve and it
You're sciatic.
and it creates pain in your legs and stuff. And I was feeling it, and it was getting kind of extreme, but I kind of thought it was like a muscle thing. And I remember I went to the doctor. I went to the medical center, and I was like, I'm really nervous that it's my disc again. I had this like a decade ago, and they sent me to get an MRI. And at this time is when I was being put on Zoloft for the first time. And I got the MRI on like a Thursday or a Friday. And I was waiting for results. And I had just started this MRI, this SSRI, and I didn't know that it was going to affect my orgasms. So I was with someone I was dating that weekend, and we were having sex like a ton, and I couldn't have orgasms, and I didn't know why. I didn't know if it was from the back thing. It was like a medical thing. I know it's like funny because it's sex, but it's like really like this is a weird situation. And like also,
I have whiplash from the switch to this topic, by the way.
well, we were ending it, and I was like, this is a weird thing that came up recently.
I know. We're ending it, and it's like, here's a prolonged story about my jizz.
Well, it's not about my jizz, it's about my back.
I know. I feel for you with the back problem. I really do.
Well,
Yeah.
so and it's never affected
the
me.
jizzing, like, take care of yourself. You know?
It's never affected me in this way, but they're like, whenever I have had to go, and I'm sure they've asked you guys too, they're like,
About our jizzing?
no, basically, like, can you control your fucking, like, shitting and pissing and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's phrased
how they
that
say
way.
it,
Yeah.
Well, it does.
Yeah.
It does
That
affect.
doctor with the Swisher Sweet cigar in his mouth.
It can like affect your like functioning. It really can.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Because it's like
Usually they say any side effects, but
Can you control? Are
don't
you
ask
having
you-
any issue with incontinence? Can you control your
Right,
bowel
exactly,
movements,
exactly.
things like that? Or they don't go, "How's your shitting and pissing?"
so. What happened was.
Oh, and jizzing.
that's a cross stitch on the wall at Chuck's doctor.
So what happened was I was nervous that it was the back thing, and I was like, this is really weird. All of a sudden I can't have orgasms. So we were having sex like a ton over the course of the weekend, like a lot.
You and the doctor?
No, and then at the end of the weekend, I was like, man, I'm like, my leg feels way worse. I don't know what's going on. I got a call on Tuesday, and they're like, hey, you have a bulging disc, so you have to be really careful. But this was from
Yeah.
the week beforehand.
Yep.
And I was on the SSRI that I didn't know that did this, and it got really bad. That night is the night that I like had to go to the emergency room in Staten Island. That led to my whole spine
For
thing.
you to have an orgasm.
Yeah.
That was weird. You went in, you're like, I can't jizz.
My back hurts, but more importantly,
it's an emergency.
Do you have like a machine?
So what it led to eventually, and I think this was pre-Funbearable, was me I was hospitalized for like 7 days.
Yeah.
I was like actually bedridden for 7 days. And then I had the spine surgery, and Brad had his spine surgery right after that too. We covered it a lot on the Chuck and Brad podcast at that time. I didn't tell this whole story. So I did find out around that time that the SSRI causes this issue. That's why I was dealing with it. But it really, if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't have had such an issue, probably.
Yeah.
So SSRI. And like, I got used.
I can't hear SSRI anymore without thinking of a Nazi group in Rhode Island.
SSRI.
Yeah. Let me type in ssri.com.
So basically,
Providence.
it was this thing where they're like, we're putting you on a low dose. You probably won't feel any benefits from it, but we're making sure that the side effects aren't terrible.
Yeah.
So for like the past 2 years, I've been switched on like 3 that all give you the same sexual side effects. And for me, it was basically just, like I said, like delaying and stopping it from happening a lot.
Edging.
Which is fine. No, it's not that. It's just like, whatever. So I was dealing with it for a long time. I'm like, all right, whatever. Brad eventually was like, they put me on Wellbutrin. And I looked up Wellbutrin, and it's like this. Like it's really helpful for people who are on SSRIs that you can't take a high dose because it affects your orgasms and stuff. So I talked to my doctor about it, and she put me on Wellbutrin recently. This is like maybe a month ago.
Oh no!
And
No! I just realized where the
Yeah.
literal climax of this story is.
First of all, so here's what I didn't realize.
Cut to the spookiest house of all.
Cut to the messiest desk of all.
So what I didn't realize is I thought all it was doing was being like, oh, you can't have an orgasm a bunch of times in a row. You can't, like, whatever. What it's actually been doing is like taming my libido to like 10% of what it normally was before that.
God.
But I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Hold on.
This
Chuck, listen, I wish you nothing but the best in your medical life, okay? Truly. I love you as a friend. You're a good person.
Yeah.
Deep down. My issue, somebody just tried to walk in and they heard what we were talking about and walked out. Here's my concern. What you're telling me is that for the last 2 years,
Yeah.
for the entirety of the time that we've been doing Funbearable and my experience with you in this period of time has been with your libido medically lowered
By a lot.
Brad, I don't think we can do this podcast much longer.
If I had known this was the case before the big Vegas trip, I would not have gone to Vegas.
So it's crazy because, like, I was like, how come I didn't realize that it was doing this to me? But I know why. Because I got out of my 7-year relationship at the end of that fall.
Oh, right, yeah.
And immediately started and became single. So
Yeah.
single Chuck has only existed with the SSRI power dampening collar. Let's just say that. You know what I mean? Like in Deadpool.
The fucking in his mind, I swear to God, there are so many instances of like a therapist could write a book.
It's a real McKamey Manor up there.
Yeah. Of just like him saying, like, so for him, in his mind, his libido is a fucking superpower. It's his radioactive spider.
It's an outlier, I'll tell you that.
Like if Spider-Man got bit on the dick.
So I didn't know that until like a month ago.
Webs all over the city.
Yeah, and he didn't have an uncle die that said, with great power comes great responsibility. Chill out.
I'm Magneto. For the past few years, I've been Magneto in the plastic cell. And they just let me out, and I'm lifting the Brooklyn Bridge.
With your horniness.
But I had no idea that, like, the best comparison is in Avengers, where the whole time Mark Ruffalo is
This is the best comparison.
the best comparison. The whole time in Avengers, the movie, Mark Ruffalo is just Bruce Banner. Just Bruce Banner. They're like, wow, how do you get this under control? What's going on here? And then right before the fight, he goes, well, that's my secret. I'm always angry. And he turns back. That's the moment that I'm dealing with in my life
always
right
horny,
now.
is what you're saying.
And it's like, it's crazy. I can't believe it. It's fucking crazy.
Instead of the Incredible Hulk, it's the about average Hulk.
It's the give it a rest Hulk. What you're saying at the end of this episode is that you're just like super horned up? Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying that this is a really interesting. I mean, just in our lives, this is a really interesting series of events.
Our lives. This is solely in your life, my friend.
We all have anxiety.
Yeah.
We all have disc problems.
Sure.
We all have penises for the most part.
I take anxiety
Thank you.
medication. I take one that does not have that as a side effect.
Yes.
So I take doxepin.
Well, the other thing too is like you could take the one with the side
It
effect.
could be coxepin for all I know.
You could take the one with the side effect, and it just might not affect you. That's
Yeah.
how it is. Person to person, it's just different.
Yeah.
Like the Wellbutrin that we're on, for some people, it gives them like extreme stomach issues too. You know what I mean? And so I don't have that. Everyone's different. So that's why they weren't like, hey, this always happens to everybody or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's been a real fucking trip. And I feel comfortable saying it right now because, like, I'm not necessarily in a consistent relationship thing for the first time since I've been single. I've been consistently seeing someone. And then right at the end of like a recent month, I had a couple breakups. And so I'm like in this in-between period where I'm turning back into this werewolf monster where there's just a fucking consistent
Like
full
the
moon
imagery.
following
Why
me
is
around.
he using this imagery? Brad, why is he doing it? He's the Hulk. He's the werewolf.
Anyway.
None of them are good.
Yeah.
No, they're all uncontrollable.
Anyway.
they're all defined by their inability to be controlled.
You're
in
gonna
any
have
way.
to chain me to like a jail cell sometimes.
I don't want any responsibility for this.
Well-
you can't come to my house and go, I turned into a werewolf and now it's your problem. And whoever I kill, the blood is on your hands. Leave me out of
The
it.
reason I
It's
wanted
not blood on your hands.
the reason I wanted to bring it up in the podcast is just like a gentle warning.
I don't. That's insane. It's insane.
Yeah.
Just really quick, I just want to let you know before we go any further. You know this creative endeavor you're tied to me with? I'm just saying. You know how we were talking about Jared Fogle earlier? It's not going to be like that, but it'll be close. It'll be the more acceptable Fogle.
It might affect me in other ways. I might just have more pep in my step.
That ain't pep, buddy.
Ew, I got pep on my step.
I don't think Pep makes a squishing sound when he walks. Oh, it's all just a lot of pep.
So I just wanted to give
I
you.
pepped so much last night.
So maybe this is kind of like a health update,
All right.
and I'm doing good.
I recommend saying these things to a doctor and or therapist.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
therapist kind of pushed me away
From what?
herself. Well,
This
you know what?
is-
No, she said it, but here's what she said. I was talking to her about the same kind
You
of
gotta
stuff.
let me in. I'm coming too much.
No, I was telling her the same stuff, and she goes, I think she's just over it. She's just like, Chuck, so I think you got to realize you don't have that bad. That's the last time we talked. And she was like,
I
so,
like the cut of this lady's jib.
she was like, give me a call, when you want to have an appointment again. And I'm kind of like, I think I'm done.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, I feel like we're saying the same thing every time. You ever-
Or maybe she's saying the same thing every time.
No, I feel like truthfully, the therapy thing, it's just like me being like, this person hates me, this person doesn't appreciate me, this person blah blah blah. And she's like, that's probably not true. You're looking through this thing, you're looking with confirmation bias. Why don't you look at the evidence of the opposite and see if you find evidence there?
Sure.
And then 2 weeks later I go, this person hates me, this person doesn't appreciate me, this person doesn't blah blah. And she goes, well, it's confirmation, and I'm like, we've been doing this for the past couple of years, so I'm just like,
Maybe therapy shouldn't be focused on going in and every week saying this person hates me. Again, I think that's a psychological thing.
but that's why I go to therapy.
But I think therapy is about like finding out stuff about yourself inward and
That's
how
what I
you
asked
can
her.
focus those
Here's what I
things.
directly said to her in that
Yeah.
conversation. I go,
Now I'm your therapist. What is happening?
No. I'm in the same place as you. Me and you are
Yeah.
in the same place. I said to her, well, we're dealing with these surface level situations that are happening in real time.
Yeah.
I'm like, can't we look at things of like, well, why do I always feel this way?
Yeah.
Why do I always look at situations like this as opposed to just treating each one individually? Can't we go like more about like what's going on with me that I always feel this way?
Yeah.
And she said, I think you just got to realize you don't have it that bad.
Huh.
And I was like, this doesn't feel like, you know what I mean? It doesn't
Yeah.
feel like, I feel like she's checked out.
Then I think, then find another.
think
Honestly, in a therapy setting, and I'm terrible because
Do you have a therapist?
I have stalled so many times on doing
know.
it. I will like every couple of weeks be like, I'm gonna go to a therapist. I'm gonna go to a therapist. I'm gonna go to a therapist.
Yeah.
And then I just don't do it.
Do you ever check with one or like look one up?
I've gotten so far as like reaching out to a couple of places. My experience is like I think a lot of people go through this same thing where they're like, I need to go to a therapist. I want to go to a therapist. I actively want to.
Yeah.
My grandmother passing kind of kicked me into a place where I'm like, I need to process this. And I think a lot of people, my wife brought this up. She was like, a lot of people, Kalina, I never know. I don't like just saying my wife like as a blank thing.
Right.
Her name's Kalina, but we're in a podcast situation.
Yeah, so you don't want to assume everyone always knows who that is.
I don't want to just be like, Kalina said to me, and people will be like, is
I
that
know.
his therapist?
That's one of my podcast
She
rules.
kinda is.
one of my podcast rules is like, don't make anyone feel left out if they haven't listened.
The
before.
old
Yeah.
battle axe.
So this dumb bitch, Kalina. No, I don't like that. Sorry,
it's not
sorry. No, so she pointed out, like, the thing that you're going through, because my issue is
I have all this anxiety stuff. I had a revelation recently. We talked about this. I don't know if it was on podcast or not, where I was like, I think I have a legit like clinical general anxiety disorder.
Yeah.
That's why I'm on the doxepin and doing that stuff. I did talk to someone. I had a telehealth.
Right. Of course.
But I want to go further and actually do talk therapy to like help with that.
Yes.
And with my grandmother, she passed recently. So for like 2 years, we didn't see her because of COVID, because her assisted living home was like on a lockdown.
Yeah.
And then as she was coming out of that, she had some medical issues. And so she got moved around, and I didn't have a phone number for a couple of those places. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. And it was this thing of like, she's in flux right now. She's moving to another place. And my mom was nearby. So she's like dealing with that stuff. And it was understood like, once she's settled, we can get back to like, I'll call, we're going to visit, we're going to do the things.
Right.
And she passed away. And so it feels really alien to me. Because it's hard to say this person that lived 3 hours away that I couldn't see for 2 years and then couldn't see for another year because of all this influx situation. It's really hard for me to say, hey, you feel the same way today as you did when she was alive.
Yeah.
Right.
Of, man, I want to talk to my grandmother, that kind of thing. And being like, no, you can't. She's dead. It's over. It's done. And it's really fucking hard to process it. So it's like this extended grieving period, right? It's really weird. I don't know why we're talking so much. I'm sorry. But
has it affected your shitting, pissing, or jizzing?
No, yes, I guess. Does sad? Sorry, sad.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean?
Sorry, so sad.
It's fucking sad. I don't know.
He's sad.
He's really sad.
Let me drive a nail through him and see if that cheers him up.
He was feeling perkier and better, but then Chuck's whole story kind of bummed him out. No, but it is a thing. So the closest I've gotten is like reaching out to a couple of places. And Maria Bamford, fantastic comedian, one of my favorites. She talks a lot about mental health, and how insanely difficult it is to get help in this country.
Yes.
And she's like, it's so hard, but go. Like, get it done. Talk to the 50 people to make it happen. Get your appointment that's 6 months from now. Go talk to the person that you don't get along with and then have to find another person.
I know.
Do all those things because eventually you'll get there. And I just need to do that. It is difficult. But I listen, do as I say, not as I do. Go find a therapist that works for you.
Yeah.
That's my issue. I don't feel like I can. I feel like I got to do a speed dating round and sit down with like 10 different people.
I felt like my therapist was awesome for so long, but I think one of the problems was that when I first started going to her in 2014, or maybe before that, maybe 2013.
When did the rallies start that you were going to?
So much of my life was about like, I want to move to the next step, and I want to do more work, and I want to be more in the creative space. And I almost feel like she focused so much on that she feels like you're way more financially successful than most people your age in the creative space you want to get to. And so for her, I think that was like a big goal, because I remember her crying when I would tell her certain accomplishments and stuff like that. And it's almost like these interpersonal things that I'm upset about. This is just my outside opinion. It feels like she thinks less of them, or she doesn't think they're a big deal.
Yeah.
And so to me, I'm looking for what you're talking about, which is the like, well, if I always feel this way in these situations, then there's something in me that needs to evolve. And that's what I'd like to dig on and like really work with. But it never seems like we're doing that.
My therapist sent me a YouTube video link, how to tie a noose.
Oh no. Well, I do have some good news for you.
I struggle with knots.
Don?
Garlic?
He's too handsome. Don, yes. Garlic, no.
Garlic Don?
Garlic Don. He's going to show up at my
Vampires
Christmas
hate me.
party. Yeah.
Wait, no, I think that's just Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. But
Jimmy Stewart Dracula.
I am.
That's fun.
That is fun.
All right, can't you see I'm a creature of the night?
I'm hungry.
I have a need for blood. Bring me a
Blood.
Who's that young woman over there? She's absolutely captivating. Let me come to you in the nighttime, and I'll show you the world by lamplight. That's what I'll do. Come with me. I'll make you my queen, and we'll see the rise and fall of kingdoms.
The Rise and Fall of Kingdoms is great.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's really fun.
Yeah, that is fun.
Come live betwixt the worlds of the living and the dead. We will dance on the graves of all of our loved ones.
He has to be more bumbling.
Yeah,
Though, I think.
we'll dance on the graves of our loved ones.
The graves.
The graves.
Yeah, that's good.
We'll see the world by moonlight. You want the moon?
Just say the word.
I'll lasso that moon. And I'll pull it right down here. And I'm also I'm a bat, see, and I can fly. Here we go.
Look at me.
Look at me, I'm a goddamn bat. Look at me now, Clarence. I'm a goddamn bat. I have wings. Every time a bell rings, I get wings on my bat.
That's great.
Renfield.
Yes.
That's funny.
You look pale. So we do have good news, though, about this therapy situation. I know that was a really fun goof that for sure should be a clip. Jimmy Stewart Dracula.
Yeah.
You know what we need on this show? A resident. Oh, good idea. No evidence.
Ooh, bad idea.
Yeah. We need a resident cartoon maker. We need an animator.
Kenny Urbanus, but we can't ask him that much. That's too much.
That's stills. I mean animation.
Wow.
I mean, I want to see Jimmy Stewart Dracula.
I think we need 7 therapists. One for each of us, one for each duo, and then one for the 3 of us.
Well, I think we need 7 therapists, one for each of us, and then the other 4 help the therapist.
Yes.
It's all like a Harley Quinn situation where they become us.
Ooh, maybe that's it. Maybe we could. I do think in a lot of ways, Funbearable is sort of like therapy sessions without the therapist present.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like they should watch it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something.
I would love
Maybe
that.
I can
I would love
send
that.
like this episode to a potential therapist
Yes.
and go, what do you think of that? The problem with that, though, is I think if I do that, it's all going to be notes
Yeah.
on this guy
Case
over
study,
here
yeah.
and no notes on me.
New
That,
England.
by the way, that's the biggest note is
Yeah.
that Ray is like, these guys are crazy. Nothing for me.
Oh, no,
nothing for-"
I fully admit that I'm weird.
Oh, yeah.
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 I
Oh,
said recently in a podcast, I said we are the weird uglies. Like we gotta, you know what I mean? But I do think it would be very funny. And then the therapist would be like, so here are the notes that I have. And they would go through and I'd be like, but what about, no? And they'd be like, oh, you're the big guy in the jean jacket? Oh, well, okay. I have one note. It just says like that was pretty good, Jimmy Stewart. That's awesome.
They're like, I tried to write them out. I couldn't even fit them on your huge jean jacket.
Now here's a PDF file on the notes I have for the other guy I thought was you.
I had to break it into 2 parts.
I want you to know-
because Adobe PDF can only be so long.
I want you to know I'm letting the guy from McKamey Manor use it.
No, the therapist is like, I have the notes. I've written all of them, except for I'm still working on some of the notes. So here's what I have. I promise I'm going to finish these notes. I will finish these notes. I swear I'll do it. Basically, the therapist would be George R.R. Martin. That's how big it is. They're like, I don't know what to do for the end of these notes. Like, I've documented the problems, but I don't know how I'm going to solve them. Well, I think we had a fun
Ride.
Yeah.
Right?
I think so. We had Halloween happening. We did talk about Christmas.
Yeah.
Yep. We talked about Thanksgiving briefly. Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yep.
And we did our classic Funbearable TM kind of, pro mental health.
I think so.
And I think for being 3 middle-aged mostly, this guy's dipping and tipping.
Sagging.
Oh, no.
Sagging.
I'm aftering.
No.
That's SAG-AFTRA.
Sag is generous. It's more like melting at this point. I saw his testicles in
Droop,
Vegas.
please. Droop.
What's all over the bathroom counter? My testicles.
Too much.
Yeah.
Too much.
Weren't we going to make this a nice hour-long episode?
Yeah.
Close.
Have you ever?
Can I say one final serious thing about my sexcapades?
No.
Well, I just want to say I'm very safe. So
Okay.
everyone who's like, oh my God, because, we kind of goof and joke around.
Yeah.
Very safe, consistently testing, very good. I'm clean as a whistle.
What whistle?
Yeah,
What whistle?
a whistle that's been left on the floor of Grand Central Station for the past 3 years.
Yeah. And apparently won't stop jizzing.
Yes.
Too much jizz on that whistle.
But I am a good boy
Okay.
in my adventuring.
That's fair. I think it's fine, and I think that the analogy of a clean as a whistle is appropriate because I don't trust anybody that would blow it. Please let us go home.
Folks, if you have questions, comments, concerns, or otherwise, please send us an email, funbearablepod@gmail.com, or through all the socials at funbearablepod.
You don't know where that whistle's been.
Lou.
We're always happy to hear from all y'all. For Chuck Staten and Ray Harrington, I am Brad Rohr saying thank you so much, and we're sorry for being Funbearable.
I don't think there should be a funny thing at the end
No.
after you said that because I think we all just have to kind of sit in it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Chuck's sitting in it
Yeah,
literally.
I was just going to say the same thing.
It's me. I want to go back to your melted testicles.
I know you do.